Who you got?
Yeah, I got the Commanders, and the big reason why is their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, who has been elite against the blitz, you guys. Second in the league against that blitz, 90 QBR. And who likes the blitz? The Buccaneers do. They are actually third in the league. They get home 37% of the football time. So I expect Jaden Daniels to lead this team to a victory because of that ability to handle the blitz.
He did it again. We all agree. I don't like it. RC, Packers, Eagles, who you got? Oh.
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a possible MVP this year if we wouldn't just continuously give it to quarterbacks. And also this defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen some leakage on the back end, but I expect Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to lock in on the back end, and Jalen Carter's an absolute game wrecker in the middle of this defensive line. I think Vic Fangio finds a way to be great defensively, but I know this offense will be physical with Saquon Barkley running the ball.
Once again, whenever everyone thinks something is going to happen, it almost never does. Keeping that in mind, the return of Jalen Hurts, off the concussion, it appears out of concussion protocol and ready to go.
You have to monitor him, see if symptoms recur, and if they do, he goes back to the beginning. But full practice yesterday means he only has one more step to clear, and that's the official clearance to play.
So the overwhelming likelihood is that he does play this game. Lewis, you're a defender in this game. You know what he's coming off of. How does that impact the way you approach the game?
Look, I said it in the first hour, and look, and I say this with all due respect, especially when it comes to player health and safety. But you got to touch Jalen Hurts if you're a defender. You got to try and put him on the ground. You got to kind of see whether or not he's someone who can sustain the hits. And really, if you're Nick Sirianni and you're Kellen Moore, you're sitting there going, okay, look, how's this game going to play out? Do we need him to be put in harm's way? Do we need him to be getting touched unnecessarily out in this football game? And without, if A.J. Brown doesn't play and somehow Saquon Barkley isn't able to get going, if he isn't able to get 4 yards before he, encounters first contact, that's an insane number, by the way. Yeah. He's almost averaging 4 yards per carry before first contact. Yeah. I mean, that's way beyond the second level. Look, I think for him, though, it's all about about availability. And and a lot of that's going to be due to how they use him in this football game.
RC, quickly again, as a hard-hitting safety that you were, how are you approaching Jalen Hurts if you're on that Green Bay defense?
First of all, I have an intimate relationship with concussion protocol, so I also understand that part as well. But when you look at what Jalen Hurts is, I agree with Lewis, and it's not even about just touching him. It's seeing how he reacts to the touches. How will he react to physicality? Will he try to gain that extra yard? That's so much of what they do if you're the Philadelphia Eagles offense and Kellen Moore. And does this run game become one-dimensional? Because to me, it's a different run game when quarterback run is taken out of the equation. I expect to see some simulated pressure. I expect to see twist up front. They're going to try to touch Jalen Hurts in the run game and the pass game to see if they can affect him.
Super quick.
No, I was just going to say, look out for number 56, Edgerrin Cooper, and Xavier McKinney. Those are the guys who are most likely to touch him in a way he don't want to be touched.
Right. Very quickly, EJ, do you expect something different from the Eagles offense? Will they run all that RPO, all that stuff where we see him carrying the ball?
They'll still run RPO, but if you look at the numbers, so the Packers are not great for runs inside the tackles. They're actually 24th in the league. Outside the tackles, they're second in the league. So I would just say let power, let inside counter, let ISO with Saquon Barkley be the lead. You still have to have the zone read responsibilities because you got to respect Jalen as a runner. You can still get 3 or 4 yards and slide and move on to the next play.
And people who were just joining us just heard Lewis say, well, maybe A.J. Brown doesn't play. They're thinking, what's he talking about? Grouse, what is he talking about?
I think he'll play, but he didn't practice yesterday. He does have a knee injury that he's trying to manage. My understanding is they didn't practice him yesterday because as part of the rest program, they want him on so he's ready to go on Sunday. I expect to see him out there. The question is, will he be limited at all by that knee?
Listen, the only thing I know is if I'm the Green Bay, I'm not letting Saquon Barkley win this game.
Yeah.
With all the other stuff going on with the Eagles there, any other
wildfires. Football, of course, comes second to that. But because the games are being played, we're going to get to those and talk about those now with Dan Graziano. Dan, let's start with the Rams. What more can you tell us about their preparations for Monday night's game against the Vikings?
Yeah, Ryan, obviously they're monitoring the air quality. It was good enough to allow them to practice yesterday. You mentioned that a fire broke out nearby. They sent the players home early. They were supposed to be doing media availability after practice. They canceled that, let them go home early to make sure things were okay. Currently scheduled to practice again today. Sean McVay has said that they're willing to move practice to SoFi Stadium if need be, but as of now, that does not appear as if it'll be necessary. Again, it'll depend on the air quality and what that's telling them in terms of their ability to practice safely outside. So far, it hasn't affected their ability to prepare for the game, as I understand it.
Such a difficult situation either way. We'll keep monitoring the situation there. Meanwhile, Dan, 5 other wild card games this weekend. There's injury issues in some of those. Let's talk about those. What more can you tell us about the status of Jalen Hurts for the Eagles game against the Packers?
Yeah, so Jalen Hurts was a full participant in practice on Thursday, which is a key development in his return from the concussion protocol. Now, in the concussion protocol, part of the deal is every time you clear a step, you are reassessed. So this morning they'll see and make sure he doesn't have a recurrence of symptoms. If he does, then that's a different story. But if he doesn't, he is on track to start and play this game against the Packers on Sunday. There is a potential issue with wide receiver A.J. Brown, who missed practice yesterday with a knee injury. My understanding is that the Eagles expect him to play in this game, and that sitting out practice yesterday was part of the plan to make sure that he's as ready as can be for this game. But the knee is obviously bothering him. We'll monitor the practice report today, and we'll see if he's in any way limited ahead of Sunday's game. But that is one to watch. We expect, again, barring a recurrence of concussion symptoms, we expect Jalen Hurts to play. We also expect A.J. Brown to play, but A.J. Brown may be a bit limited by a sore knee.
Yeah, Brown had 5 catches and 119 yards against the Packers in Week 1. They're going to need every bit of him for this Packers matchup coming up this weekend. Dan, thank you.
6 NFL games, including the Broncos headed to Buffalo, taking on Josh Allen and the Bills. Denver has the 2nd highest pressure percentage in the NFL this season. But Allen, he's got a QBR of 85 when pressured, highest in the league this season. So for more on this, Dan Graziano joins us now. He'll be covering the game this week. And so, Dan, what are both of the teams saying about what's different with Josh Allen this year?
Well, you mentioned Josh Allen under pressure, Kelsey. He has his best season by far in terms of avoiding sacks and avoiding interceptions. And I was asking some of his teammates what's different about him this year, and tight end Dawson Knox kind of said, it's just really a calm confidence in just the way he communicates with the rest of the team. He leads this meeting every Friday morning that's just him and the offense and no coaches, where he goes around the room and asks guys what kind of plays they feel good about, what kind of plays they don't like. He said just really took more of a leadership role in terms of making sure everybody else's voice is heard and communicated back to the coaches. And they feel like that's helped the entire team's confidence as well as his.
I would imagine that's exactly what you want to see from your franchise quarterback, who just keeps getting better and better. And in the wild card round, he's got 13 touchdowns, tied for the 3rd most since the round was instituted in 1978. Meanwhile, how about Bo Nix? He's got the Broncos in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. So what are the players saying about Bo Nix and his ability and what he's done?
Yeah, I talked to one of their tight ends, Adam Troutman, who's played in this offense for a while, played for Sean Payton in New Orleans before going to Denver, and he was kind of amazed. He said Bo Nix, he said he doesn't even wear a wristband, he said, which is amazing considering our offense is one of the wordiest and most complicated in the league. But they really feel like Bo Nix has always had a confidence about him that has allowed him to sort of transcend the troubles he had early in the year. And has grown into the role of starting quarterback and kind of grown in this offense as the year has gone along. They have a tremendous amount of belief and faith in Bo Nix, even though he is a rookie. They feel like they've seen him grow, and they felt like he had it under control the whole time. So they're not concerned about, his first playoff start being too big for him.
And somehow, even the season he's had, I still feel like it's like a...
Hello, 49ers fans. Today, we're diving into a hot topic. How much should San Francisco pay Brock Purdy? The young quarterback is officially eligible for a contract extension, and his value is being hotly debated by analysts and fans alike. Some critics argue that his recent dip in production could affect his valuation. Others believe his success is more a result of the incredible roster the 49ers have built around him than his individual talent. In just 3 seasons, Purdy has led the team to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl appearance. Despite injuries in 2024, the 49ers have thrived with him at the helm. However, the quarterback market is sky high. For instance, Dak Prescott earns $60 million annually with the Cowboys, but that hasn't guaranteed major success for Dallas. NFL analyst Chris Sims has a clear opinion: Purdy shouldn't receive a salary near the top-paid quarterbacks. According to Sims, a contract in the range of $25 to $30 million annually would be fair. He also compared Purdy to Tua Tagovailoa, who earns $53.1 million a year in Miami, suggesting that the Dolphins might have overpaid. Sims stated, *, who else is going to pay Purdy that money and make him their starter? I'd offer $25 to $30 million and let him decide. *. He also mentioned that Baker Mayfield, currently the Buccaneers quarterback, earns $33.3 million annually and considers him a more talented player than Purdy. Despite analyst skepticism, General Manager John Lynch has made his stance clear. * Brock is our guy. We want him here for a long time. He's done so much for our organization. *. Head coach Kyle Shanahan also praised Purdy's leadership and stated, *, he's the leader of our team. We've come very close to winning the Super Bowl with him, and I know we can do it in the future. *. The decision regarding his contract could shape the 49ers' future. Should they take a risk and offer him more money, or stick to the $30 million range proposed by Sims? Now we want to hear your opinion. Do you think Purdy deserves to be among the highest-paid quarterbacks in the league? Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and give this analysis a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, 49ers fans.